Joe Granston, and I have a 16-piece orchestra here in Atlanta, Georgia. I've always wanted to have a large ensemble. I played with the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, the Glenn Miller Orchestra back in the early 90s when I was a kid. And I remember being on stage. I remember I was playing fourth trumpet. And I remember the feeling of just the power of the big band and the way it swung and the way it made me feel. And I told myself way back then that someday I would have my own big band. And now I have one. I'm a very lucky guy. Yeah, going digital and going with the AirTurn foot pedals and the AirTurn stands has completely enhanced our performance. I send the guys a set list, they pull them up instantly. We get on stage, the backlight from the iPads kind of shines on their faces, you know, and it just looks really fantastic. We start playing these charts, and they don't have to reach out with their hand to turn pages. They just click that perfect little pedal, man. That it's just so fantastic. And you know, another thing about those pedals is that the battery just seems to never die. Man, we play these gigs, and sometimes we get back on the road and we go somewhere, or we get home super late and I forget to plug them in. The next day they're completely fine. 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 gigs in a row.
I've never really done anything with my feet, so obviously it's just a lot easier to have to just tap your foot and turn a page as opposed to you know, having to maneuver my horn, my mutes, and turn the page, and it's just a lot less messier for sure.
There's so many variables with sheet music. Of course, you know, there's the book that weighs a ton. You have to number all of the charts and going through, and they all get wrinkled and ripped and torn. But once you put that music on the stand, and I know this has happened to everybody out there, but you go to do the thing, the music will fall off, or you'll rip a page, or you'll do something. Now it's not even a consideration.
The stands are awesome. They hold the iPad completely solid. The stands themselves break down into a very small footprint. But then visually from the crowd looking at the band, it's a very modern, very sleek presentation without a bulky stand, without mismatched stands. So it's really a very, very slick and modern setup.
For me, my music stand always gets in the way of my keyboard. And this one is fantastic because I can position it in such a way that it doesn't interfere with any of my controls up on the keyboard.
Not hauling around that big book of charts is really nice, and having the freedom to use your hands or leave your hands on the horn while you have to turn pages has been very convenient, because I was pretty prone to missing page turns before. Don't tell Joe.
Super liberating. It makes it a whole lot more intuitive. You're already juggling 15 things you're trying to think about. If you don't have to think about having to turn the page, then you can concentrate a whole lot more on actually playing and not you know, the acrobatics of it all.
No doubt, man, it's changed our life, and you know, I would recommend it to anybody, not just big bands. Anybody out there should go this digital route for sure.